Massive game this weekend in the FA Cup. It's the fourth round. It's a clash between Manchester United and Liverpool, and the odds makers cannot split the two teams. We will see if our panel can, though, as we do welcome in Craig Burley and Shaka Hislop to look ahead to this massive one. Craig, for which manager is a good result more important in this game?
I would probably say Jurgen Klopp, because all of a sudden the tables have turned somewhat with recent Premier League results. How important it takes this competition now remains to be seen, because they're not out of the Premier League title race. They can turn it around, but in their current guise, that's unlikely. But in terms of the points, it's doable. But they need to get some momentum going, and so I've always believed that this competition is a great chance to get some momentum and get that league run up and going again, and put a challenge on and put a run together. So I would say for him, this is a bigger game, because he needs to get that team clicking again.
Craig, just to stick with what you said there, is there a thinking that maybe after the run of results that Liverpool have had, this could be just what they need, a game of this magnitude that they have to rise to the occasion for?
Yeah, see, I'd like to see him play the strongest side that he can, and for all those reasons that I mentioned, try and build some momentum. Because when you get bad result after disappointing result, and you start to fall behind in the title race like they have, then that can spiral quite quickly. And we know Liverpool are a little flat by their standards at the moment. Lots of players not playing particularly well. So you need to try and shake that and brush that off somewhere. And look, this game stands on its own in terms of the rivalry between the teams. And it is a great chance for Liverpool to get the likes of Mo Salah, to get the likes of Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino and others back on scoring form, back on winning form, and getting a bit of confidence back in that Liverpool side. So I see it as an opportunity for Jurgen Klopp, and for Man United for that matter, but for Jurgen Klopp to play a strong team and try and put a marker down and say, listen, some of you have written us off already, but here's what we can do.
Shaka, would you agree with what Craig's saying?
Absolutely. I think this is a far bigger game for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, given the form that they're in, and probably the perfect opponent in how good they've been. You beat Manchester United convincingly, even in the FA Cup fourth round. I think it breeds a renewed confidence to Liverpool, a confidence that they've lacked for quite some time. And even though we're playing football without fans, you know exactly what it means to the Liverpool faithful. On the other side of that same coin, the only huge motivation to this, aside from just the natural Manchester United-Liverpool derby undertones to it, is that Manchester United were very disappointing in the League Cup semi-final against City rivals in Manchester City. Maybe you want to bury that ghost, but even then I'm grabbing at straws. What it comes right down to for me here, Kay, is that Manchester United right now are playing by far the better football. Liverpool are struggling for confidence, struggling for any kind of form, and United could do a lot of damage to their own league aspirations, albeit to Liverpool's league aspirations, albeit this is in the FA Cup.
Well,
One second, okay? I'd like for Shaka to clarify what he said, burying ghosts. How do you go about burying a ghost, Shaka?
Well, what's the term I'm looking for?
Well, not burying a ghost.
What was I was struggling. What was I looking for?
Not that. I'm going to tell you that. Not that, Shaq. Oh, my goodness.
Look, we're going to bring in the starting 11 for against Burnley, Liverpool starting 11. Now, what we do know is that Klopp rested Salah and Firmino. He did bring them on, as you can see, in the 57th minute, Ale. That could show he's taking the cup seriously, although he does have a big run of games ahead. But when you do bring on players like this that you have rested, should you be expecting them to come and turn a game like this around?
At their best, yes. At their best, you're hoping that you're going to get a productive Mohamed Salah, that you're going to get the movement Roberto Firmino. The problem that you're seeing from Liverpool and some of their attacking players is that in the case of Mohamed Salah in particular, if he's not scoring goals, he's not giving you much more. Roberto Firmino is a guy that doesn't really score goals prolifically. And so for him, it's more natural to kind of run around and get touches on the ball and assist a goal here and there and kind of get involved in the build-up of the play and so on and so forth. But Salah doesn't get involved. He just parks himself on one side of the field, and if he's not scoring goals, he doesn't give you a lot more than that. And then that limits what you do on that particular side of the field, wherever he may be. So they need a better version of him, a more productive version of him. They need Sadio Mane to be the guy that takes players 1v1. They need more creativity coming out of the midfield, more of a presence in the attacking half coming out of the midfield. They need somebody to score a goal, because it's really difficult to see that graphic that we just saw where Liverpool hasn't scored a goal or scored only one goal since December 19, and they haven't won a game since December 19. A whole month of Liverpool not winning games and a whole month of Liverpool not really scoring. That's hard to believe for a team that we've considered to be explosive and dynamic. They have been everything but that over the last month or so.
And I think in that time there's been effort after effort. Craig, what can Klopp do about a situation like this when the forwards just aren't scoring, even though the chances are coming?
Let me just say before I answer that, I feel as if I've let the side down today, because even Shaka's got a shirt on. And here I'm sat here with a hoodie on. Mr. Casual here, so...
Have you got your granddad slippers on as well?
If Shaka has a shirt on?
Yeah, that's the bar. What can he do? He can play them. He can try and get the supply line up to them. You can't really do much about it when you're going through a hard time. You've just got to keep plugging away. But if you look through where the problems are in this Liverpool side, and I do think, depending on the team selection, that United are favourites for this game, because the worm has turned, in my opinion. You look at the problems, some of them are glaringly obvious and others are not. I mean, Ali mentioned the goals and the flatness up front. That's true, for sure. The lack of an alternative to Roberto Firmino that I've been crying out for a while. Somebody that can come on and when they're whipping balls in the box is a penalty box striker. There's been literally no goals from the middle of the park. I think one from Henderson and one from Wijnaldum, and that's it. That's just not good enough, particularly when your strikers are not scoring. You need somebody then from the middle of the park to get making runs into the box and be chipping in, like all the good teams did over the years, like the Scholes for United, like Lampard for Chelsea, like Gerrard for Liverpool. The list goes on. And then you look at the problems they've had at the centre-back position and having to drop Fabinho back in there. So it's been clear. But I think one of the biggest issues that they've had, and it's been overlooked, is the fullbacks. You know, Trent Alexander-Arnold has been having a much more problematic season. His form has dipped, he's had injuries. Andy Robertson is still getting up and down like a Trojan, but that final quality's not there. And you can't underestimate, Kay, how much progression and progressive they were when their fullbacks were absolutely flying. That's where their biggest attacking threat was coming from. Yes, they played all this nice football. Yes, they controlled games. Yeah, the front guys were great. But it was all about Robertson and Alexander-Arnold flying down that wing at pace, quick tempo football, and good quality into the box. I think Liverpool have lost a step in that department. And I think that's one of the main reasons why they've not been playing as well.
Yeah, problems all over the pitch. Klopp himself said they can't even think about the title right now. Do you think that their title chances are slipping away because of these reasons?
No, look, I don't agree with that. Look, this Liverpool team, you know, we know they're good enough, right? The question is now, can they turn that around? He moaned and groaned at the start of the season and then well into the season about everything, about substitutions, about broadcasters, about scheduling. And I think that, in some sense, had an adverse effect on his players because players listen. But there's no doubt that they're good enough. And the games that they've got coming up, obviously, they're not going to be easy. At Tottenham, at West Ham, who've been going well. But the bottom line is they've got to get results. And look, I always felt this season would be a more difficult one for Liverpool, but not as difficult so far as it's turning out. Because if you think about it, you know, over the last 3 or 4 years, you had City on 100 points, and then on sort of 99, I think it was, you had Liverpool on 98 and losing the league, and then in 98 or 99 when winning the league. I think to ask a team to do that for a third season is unlikely. Even City themselves couldn't do it. Last year they had quite a drop-off. So the drop-off's not unexpected from Liverpool, but how far they've dropped so far is quite the shock.
Well, the fact that it's a cup game, Craig, has to make it more exciting than the last time these two faced off. Would you care to give us a prediction?
Yeah, unless things change drastically and Solskjaer plays a much, much weakened side, I'm going to go for a United win. And, you know, maybe he'll play a strong team, Jurgen Klopp, and they'll turn it around. But I kind of get the feeling he'll go the other way and play more of a hybrid. And I don't think that's the right way to go in terms of getting a result this game, or for, as I say, building momentum like I mentioned earlier.
Who have you got, Shaka?
I have Manchester United. I think both teams play as strong a team as, or very close to full strength teams. And in all honesty, as we sit right now, Manchester United, between the two, are by far the better. I think they win it 2-0.
Ale, before we came on, you said it's not often this season that you would have had more faith in Manchester United going into a game like this. Who are you going for?
Yeah, it's really hard to believe that we're at this point of the season and halfway through the year, and you look at both of these teams, and going into this match, you trust Manchester United more so than you would Liverpool. But this is the kind of moment in which Manchester United has let their fans down, and so therefore, I'm going to take Liverpool. They're going to rise up, and they're going to play well, and they're going to be dynamic, and they're going to score enough goals, which means they're going to win 1-0.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.